A king who could command thousands with a single word, yet could not earn a single tear when he died. What went wrong in his life was something most people never realize. Long ago, in the flourishing kingdom of Vijay Nagar, life appeared perfect on the surface. The streets were clean, the markets were full, the soldiers stood tall. But beneath that polished beauty lived a silent, suffocating fear. At the center of it all was King Virat Singh, a ruler known not for wisdom, but for punishment. If a merchant failed to pay tax on time, his goods were seized. If a man spoke out of turn, he was imprisoned. If a servant made a mistake, they vanished without explanation. No one questioned him, not because he was right, but because they were afraid. Even laughter had become dangerous in Vijay Nagar. People smiled carefully, spoke softly, lived cautiously. But inside the palace walls, there was one exception: Jack, a simple dog with bright eyes and a wagging tail. With Jack, the king was different. He laughed, he spoke gently, he even played. Every evening, while the sun painted the sky orange, Virat Singh would sit in the royal garden, feeding Jack, talking to him as if he were his only friend. "Everyone respects me," the king would say proudly. Jack would simply wag his tail, because Jack did not know the difference between fear and respect. Then came the morning that changed everything. The palace servants whispered, the guards stood still, the royal physician walked out slowly, his face heavy. Jack was gone. Silence filled the palace like never before. The king rushed to Jack's side, his hands trembling. For the first time in years, Virat Singh cried, not as a king, but as a lonely man. In his grief, he made a decision. "Prepare the grandest farewell this kingdom has ever seen," he ordered, "and every citizen must attend." The message spread like wildfire, but not out of love, out of fear. On the day of the cremation, the entire city gathered. Men stood in rows, women covered their heads, children stayed unusually quiet. From afar, it looked like a sea of mourning hearts. The king stood tall beside Jack's decorated resting place, watching the crowd. Thousands had come. Thousands. His chest filled with pride. His tears slowly turned into a smile. "Look at them," he whispered. "They all came. For me." No one spoke. No one corrected him, because truth had no place where fear ruled. The flames rose and the ceremony ended. But something had changed inside the king. He walked with a new kind of confidence, not cruelty alone, but arrogance wrapped in illusion. He believed he was loved. Days turned into weeks. The kingdom remained silent as always. But fate has a way of revealing truths no one wants to face. One evening, the king fell ill. At first, he ignored it, but soon the strong ruler who once terrified thousands could not even stand without support. The palace grew quiet again, this time not out of fear, but anticipation. Then, one morning, the royal bells rang. King Virat Singh was dead. No orders were given this time, no threats, no forcing attendance, just an announcement. The king has passed. His funeral will be held tomorrow. The city heard it, and for the first time in years, people did nothing. No rush, no whispers, no fear-driven movement, just normal life. A market opened, children played, women cooked, the sun rose just like any other day. At the palace, the funeral preparations were complete. The firewood was arranged, the priests stood ready, the guards waited. But hours passed, and no one came. Not the crowd that once filled the cremation ground, not even a fraction of it. Just a few palace servants standing at a distance, not out of grief, but obligation. The same king who believed thousands loved him
now faced the quietest farewell imaginable. As the fire slowly consumed the remains of Virat Singh, the wind carried away not just ashes, but the illusion he had lived with. Fear had filled his kingdom, but it had emptied his legacy. Years later, elders of Vijay Nagar would sit under trees telling children this story, not to scare them, but to guide them. A new ruler had come, one who listened before speaking, who corrected without cruelty, who led with understanding instead of force. And something beautiful happened. The markets grew louder, laughter returned, people spoke freely. For the first time in a long time, the city didn't just live, it felt alive. And whenever someone tried to rule with fear, the elders would gently remind them, "Remember Virat Singh." Because power can control actions, but only kindness can win hearts. Moral: fear may make people obey you, but it will never make them love you. Respect is built in silence, through your actions, your kindness, and how you treat others when you have power. So be honest with yourself. If you were gone today, would people show up because they have to, or because they truly want to?